949-8037 or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
And now, back to Talk Today.
Gremlins in the studio. Yes. Well, today we're going to have a open mic session, open line session. So you can let us know what's on your mind. Well, not everything, but some things that are on your mind anyway. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about immigration. That's always a hot topic. Today's Wednesday, halfway through the week. I hope you're having a good week. Looks like some April showers scattered here or there. And if you're struggling this week, well, keep your head up and console yourself with thoughts of what you're going to be doing for the long holiday. You start making plans. Discovery Day coming up. I thought they were getting rid of that, but replaced it with Emancipation Day. But it seems they thought that was too important to take off the calendar. Columbus spotting two low-lying islands in the distance. He didn't even stop, though. He could have gone down as the first tourist in Cayman, but he just kept going. I guess like the megaships, right? Well, we heard a lot about immigration during the campaign. We're still hearing about it. The new National Coalition for Caymanian government has made immigration a top priority. So if you want to talk about that, I'm going to say a few words about it so you can join in the conversation. If you don't know the numbers, here they are. You can get a free call, courtesy of Flo, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us at 949-6990. And WhatsApp, if you prefer WhatsApp, you can send us a message, give us a call, 925-3261. That's the WhatsApp number. So I think it was, yesterday. It was an article in the Compass with CEO of Cayman Finance, Steve McIntosh. He was giving a word of caution about immigration reform. Seems his main concern is to any changes would be to make the system more inefficient than what it is now, or cost more. It does take a long time right now to get a decision on granting a work permit. Currently, I think it actually takes, it's in the months. So he was saying that if you make it any longer, you bog the system down anymore, it would be harmful to the financial industry. And I can see his point there. We do have other jurisdictions that we have to compete with, and whoever can process things faster, do it cheaper, is probably going to be a winner. But from what the Premier has said, I don't believe Mr. McIntosh has to worry about any reform that this government is going to put in place, actually causing work permits to be delayed in being granted. As a matter of fact, I think they're looking to speed up that process. The Premier, he was on the, forefront, and he was saying that the reform has to be made because it's not working for anyone. It's not working for employers. It's not working for Caymanian employees looking for a job, and they have to make it more efficient. I do agree with Mr. McIntosh that this whole work permit conundrum that we find ourselves in is a balancing act. It's a bit tricky, but I'm sure it can be worked out. I remember being in one of those gas station convenience stores. I was standing there and I heard a voice behind me, a man saying, "Chalo, what are we going to do? What are we going to do?" And I looked at him and said, "What do you mean?" And he says, "Just look around. Look around. We've lost it. We've lost our country." And looking around the store, I see that this gentleman is referring to the fact that all of the employees in this convenience store are foreign workers. In fact, he and I might have been, at that very moment, he and I might have been the only Caymanians in that store. So I said to him, I guess we are a victim of our own success. And by that I mean that Cayman has developed so robustly, so quickly, that the Caymanian workforce can't keep up with the demand for labor. Even in the few years since COVID, it's been amazing. Everywhere you look, concrete is being poured, and you need people for that. It's people that do that. It's like the country reopened after COVID, the COVID shutdown. Development rebounded with a vengeance, and likewise the demand for labor. Now, I know the owner of that gas station convenience store that I was in. I know that he does employ Caymanians because I've seen Caymanians at his other gas station, the one that I would have usually gone to. So I can only assume that he just couldn't find enough Caymanians to work at that gas station and on that shift. The fact is, there is a shortage of Caymanian workers to fill the job openings that have been created. It takes people. It takes staff to run a business, unless it is a one-man show, of course. I've heard people say we should pause work permits, reserve certain jobs for Caymanians. But, like I said, it's tricky. How do you tell a small business that has done what it needs to do in order to recruit Caymanian employees, but just can't find the right Caymanian that they're looking for, and you tell them, nope, you're not allowed to get a work permit? How is that business that may very well be owned by a Caymanian function? How do they function if that business can't get the staff to operate? And that is not to say that there's no discrimination against Caymanian workers. There's been documented time and again. We all hear the stories, particularly at the higher, more lucrative end of the employment ladder. For instance, I was told a story about a Caymanian's career being temporarily derailed. There was once a Caymanian young lady with a promising future. The law firm that she worked at got a work permit for a very senior position on the premise that they would put this Caymanian to understudy the senior person that was on the work permit. Now, that was what the premise was of getting this work permit. And of course, they told immigration that the Caymanian would be trained to eventually take that senior position. Sounds good, right? Well, all of that was done. But because the firm was able to get a key employee status for the work permit holder, he was able to stay in Cayman long enough to get permanent residency. Boom. Guess what? Once he got his permanent residency, the Caymanian was no longer needed to ensure they could get a work permit for this guy. So the Caymanian was transferred to a different department. Now, this same person who was chosen to understudy for a senior position in the firm, all of a sudden, her competence is being questioned. And she's constantly under performance review. This went on until she was pushed out. Now, they would say, oh, she left. Well, I guess you're going to take that kind of treatment for a while. Meanwhile, the guy who got permanent residencies made a partner in the firm. This type of gaming the system and creating glass ceilings goes on so much in Cayman's corporate financial world that a saying developed around it. And that saying is, they make partners Caymanians before they make Caymanians partners. They make partners Caymanians before they make Caymanians partners. Don't get me wrong, as Joe Cocker would sing, "Oh Lord, don't let me be misunderstood." I know a number of good, fair-minded, genuine expats that love Cayman, and they look out for Caymanians. But the fact is, this little story illustrates the kind of crap that goes on in gaming the system, and that's why people are calling out for immigration reform. We have a caller in the line, but we need to take a break. Caller, hang on. Be right with you. Okay, we're going to take the call? Okay. All right. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air. Hello? Hello, are you there?
A day after Hamas...
All right, I think we take the break. Let's take the break, and then we try to get the phone call straightened out.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Looking to transform your space? From custom homes to commercial spaces, we bring your vision to life with precision, quality, and elegance. At Mike's Builders, we make it happen.
Mike's Builders turned my dream home into a reality. Their team is professional, efficient, and truly the best in the business. Good communication? Check. Cleanliness? Check. Professionalism? On point. You have to try Mike's Builders for yourself.
Call us today at 923-0706. That's 923-0706. Mike's Builders. Let's build a beautiful world together.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Cayman Art Week is back from Tuesday the 20th to Sunday the 25th of May. It's a fun-filled program of art events, pop-up exhibitions, open studios, and late opening hours at galleries and venues across all 3 Cayman Islands. Visit at your own pace or join one of our district bus tours with a new route added this year in Cayman Brac. All events are free and open to the public with art on sale for every budget. For all the latest, visit CaymanArtWeek.com.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. what is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back to Talk Today. I think we have a caller there. Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today. Hello?
UK Med's Type 1 field.
Hello? I guess we missed that one. Do we have the caller there? Hello? Okay, we're trying to get some technical things straightened out here. I think we have a caller there. Hello? Good afternoon. You're on the air with the Talk Today. Hello?
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Glidden.
Good afternoon.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Sorry about the problem with the connection there. You can go ahead.
Well, concerning not having enough Caymanian workers when it comes to construction.
Mm-hmm.
About 75% of the people you see on work permits doing construction went to trade schools in their countries.
Okay. I don't know. Where do you get that figure from?
I used to work construction.
Okay.
And that's what they told me, especially the Jamaicans.
Did they go and learn a trade?
Yes, 75% of them went to trade schools in Jamaica. Okay?
Okay. I know they have a good trade schools in Jamaica.
Yes. And the Auditor General made a report in the newspaper. And she said all the concessions that have been given away, the Caymanians have nothing to show for it. If these concessions had been collected for the last 20 to 25 years, we could have had a trade school in every district now in the Cayman Islands, including Cayman Brac. But instead, we give away these concessions, and by law, part of the concession deal is 60% of the workforce building these places are supposed to be Caymanians. But how can you provide 60% of the workforce Caymanians when we don't have the trade schools in place? And this has been going on now for at least 20 to 25 years now. And then the government has these trade schools in UCCI. They have them up by the Public Works Department. You have Michael Miles trying to do his thing. But this still isn't enough. And they have one in Northwood Prison too, but you got to go to prison to go to that one.
Yeah, that's the wrong route to go.
Yeah. But the government isn't showing any interest in improving this part when it comes to providing 60% of the construction workers on the building these places to be Caymanian, because they're not providing the trade schools that this can happen. If they had a trade school in every district in the Cayman Islands right now, we would have our young people riding their bicycles to these trade schools, coming home for lunch, going back to these trade schools after lunch. And government would be able to pay them.
Even if you didn't have it in every district, just a good trade school would help a lot. I mean, that's something centrally located.
Yes, but but what I'm saying is the amount of concessions that have been given away, we could have had one in every district now.
Okay.
But if you had one in Bordentown and you had one in Georgetown, that would be okay. Because everybody from the eastern districts and everybody from West Bay and Georgetown and Savannah and those places would be able to go to the one in Georgetown. But they don't have these things in place. So how can you provide 60% of the workforce on these job sites when the government isn't providing what these young people need in order to make this happen.
I hear what you're saying, and actually, the trades could actually begin being taught in high school. Because from high school, you know whether a person is going to be headed to college or they're going to be looking for a trade, and they could come out of high school skilled.
Yes. Why are we the 5th top financial center in the world, and we don't have these things in place? But Jamaica has these things in place. Why is that? What is the excuse?
It's somebody overlooked that.
Things not happening. Huh?
I say somebody overlooked that. The need for trade schools.
They continue to do so too. And you know who's hurting from it? Our young people. That is who's hurting from it. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks for the call. Have a good afternoon there. Well, he made a good point. If people aren't trained, they can't take up the jobs. Because when you go to get a job, the first thing is, well, can you do this? What skills do you have? Right? And are you just going to be a laborer cleaning up around a construction site, or are you going to be a skilled worker? Everybody would want to be a skilled worker, I'm sure. But somewhere or other, you have to learn that skill. And I think trade schools should be right a part of the high school curriculum. People could come out of high school and be skilled mechanics. They could go to work, as a mechanic straight out of high school and make good money. But apparently that is not part of the curriculum. Why it's not? That's the big question. Do we have another caller on the line? Okay, another WhatsApp call. Let's take that one. Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today. Hello, are you there? Hello? Good afternoon. Yes, good afternoon. You're on the air.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you're on the air now. I can hear you. Good afternoon.
Okay, very well. Okay, very well. Well, first of all, I'd like to echo some of the things you said earlier on, but let me begin with echoing what the last caller just said. You see, listening to the debates last time during the elections, it was very interesting to see that people who had been in government for 4 years, 8 years, 12 years were talking as if they had never been in government. They were saying, well, you see, we should have a trade school here. We should ensure that the kids can start getting being interested in these things when they are still in high school, maybe even in primary school. And like the last caller said, these issues have been issues for 25 years. Now, my association with Cayman goes to 2003. To me, there have been issues since then. So it is very interesting that today somehow people are talking as if they've never been in government. The other thing about the trade school is that, look, you can't tell kids when they leave school or towards the end of their high school to say, well, I think you should interest yourself now in some trade, mechanics, carpentry or something. It's kind of late at that time. Okay, you have to make them start from school, interesting them in that. Let them know that it is not necessarily put it a demerit, I guess, to be involved in trade. Let them know that you can make a lot of money. In fact, if you do not want to work for a long time, you could actually own a business. The way a lot of Jamaicans are doing and being successful in Cayman. So. To me, there's been a lot of talk and very little action. Now, you mentioned something earlier about, places where, a Caymanian gets in and is hoping to make some headway in a firm, and then they are derailed because they are not trained, or even if they are trained, they are not given opportunities. In the end, they more or less constructively dismiss them, make their situation so untenable that they are forced to leave. And that kind of thing, it also happens to people like me, okay, who, when I used to be with a portfolio of legal affairs, once I had settled in, I offered to train a Caymanian. They told me, you can't train a Caymanian. A Caymanian, you're trying to sort of like upstage us. Now, that didn't even need to happen because I had PR, the other people in there had PR and status and so forth, so that they were not in any way going to be pushed aside because of a Caymanian. But there's just this malice, this idea that Caymanians must not be in control. And then what happened was...
But this was in the civil service?
This is in the civil service, portfolio of legal affairs. Yes, in the civil service. So at the end of the day, these people who were basically status holders, they now said, we don't want a Caymanian basically to have a senior position in this department. And when I tried to act in a neutral way to say, look, I'm happy to train this Caymanian, and I've got a very good background, both training people how to write legislation in a formal setting as well as informal setting. I now became the problem. After five contract renewals, Charles, 5 contract renewals, finally they told me for the 6th contract renewal that you are incompetent.
All of a sudden.
Exactly. All of a sudden, I'm incompetent now. The good book says, let no word commending yourself come out of your own mouth. But just to respond to that, I have, for the last 12 years, online taught Canadian lawyers how to write legislation. I'm still doing that now. Mm-hmm. Some of the materials I have published in the University of Oxford, University of London, University of the West Indies on legislative drafting and law are used to teach courses in North America, some in England, about legislative drafting. But I got some Guyanese person in the Cayman Islands to tell me that I was incompetent to train. Now, what was the disappointment with that? It wasn't a problem for me because I think this shows more of their problem rather than me. But then what is also important is how did the Caymanians in government who had higher officers respond to that? They didn't say, hey, look, you can't mistreat somebody who is contributing. He has even designed some courses to help Caymanians learn how to work in the legislative process, to teach them about judicial review, to avoid embarrassments to government. The other Caymanians there just joined in. They said, oh, yeah, he's a problem, then it means he's incompetent, then he has to go. So do you see? So you are punishing not just your own people, but punishing also those people who are trying to be helpful.
Yes.
And I think
make you scratch your head and pull your hair out. Huh?
Exactly. Okay. Now let me say something about work permits. Huh? Stop me when I go.
I'm in past my break point, but finish up your thought.
Okay. This CEO of Cayman Finance, who has said, well, government must be very careful about work permits and so on. They should not impose something that is too onerous.
Right.
To me, he is not. I don't disagree with him. He's right about that. But what we are talking about in Cayman today is not even these highly qualified people specialized to work in higher echelons of financial industry. We are talking about work permits being given 44,000, some of which are people working at tills, in bars, mowing lawns, and so forth, while you have nearly 2,000 people in Caymanians unemployed. That is totally ridiculous. I think they must address that. I'll call you another time relating to the rule of law, but that one is a call on its own. But I thank you for your time.
Thanks for the call. Have a good afternoon.
Yes, bye-bye.
We have another caller on the line, but please hang on. We got to take a break.
Looking to transform your space? From custom homes to commercial spaces, we bring your vision to life with precision, quality, and elegance. At Mike's Builders, we make it happen.
Mike's Builders turned my dream home into a reality. Their team is professional, efficient, and truly the best in the business. Good communication? Check. Cleanliness? Check. Professionalism? On point. You have to try Mike's Builders for yourself.
Call us today at 923-0706. That's 923-0706. Mike's Builders. Let's build a beautiful world together. Subway and Oreo has changed the dessert game. Introducing the Oreo Footlong Cookie, a full 12 inches of chocolatey, creamy goodness. It's big, it's bold, and it's here for a limited time. Perfect for sharing or not. We won't judge. Want it fast? Order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app for quick pickup and earn loyalty points. Or get it delivered straight to your door with Bento and Let's Eat. Don't wait. Treat yourself today. The Oreo Footlong Cookie is calling your name. Subway. Eat fresh. Snack sweet.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
You heard that the VEG program taking applications again? What that is? VEG, man! The Minister of Tourism's program that helping Caymanians create new tourism products and services.
Oh, I had heard about that, yeah. My friend was one of the successful applicants from the last round. I might apply for that still.
Nothing wrong, child. After you got great ideas for things tourists would love to buy, try so check out the website rcayman.ky/VEDGP for more information and apply.
I'm going to do that right now.
Attention Georgetown residents. The Department of Environmental Health Georgetown Bulk Waste Collection will take place between May 12th to 17th. This bulk waste collection will replace the traditional year-end collection. Household appliances, furniture, and other items too large to be handled by the weekly DEH collection crews should be placed by the roadside where it's easily accessible to the DEH collection crews. Metals and vegetation should also be separated from other bulk items. Do not obstruct roadway or storm drains or place tires, construction or demolition waste, hazardous materials, or electronics. For more information on the Georgetown Bulk Waste Collection from May 12 to 17, please contact the DEH's Solid Waste Management Section at 949-6696.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
I think we have a caller on the line there, so let's take that call. We're coming up on news time, but let's take the call. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. Mr. Chal, I just want to say I'm so glad to hear you back on the air.
Thank you.
This is Suzanne Boswell calling. I just wanted to say one or two things. My big concern is that Cayman has no vision. We have absolutely no collective vision about where we want to see our country go in the next 25, 30, 40 years. I've been home working for almost 25 years. I've spent my entire career in the civil service. And I am convinced that that is why we are not accomplishing anything, because our vision is in 4-year cycles.
Yes, every new government has a different plan, right?
Right. And most developed countries and developing countries have country plans. It doesn't matter which government comes in. There has been the exercise at a national level to help steer successive governments. So it doesn't matter how they accomplish the goal is set, right?
Right.
So we have 4-year goals. And 9 times out of 10, most of these goals cannot be achieved in a 4-year cycle. So therefore, they start, they're shelved because they cannot be completed. They may be in the conceptual phase, then they're shelved, might be picked back up 8 years later, or they have to be revisited because it's not fit for purpose. We are, we're at the stage that I think is that we are basically blind people being led by blind people. Okay, we don't even have a person that has one eye to lead us. We are all walking blind. And I don't think it goes well for us, right? So I'm not even focusing now or thinking about Vision 2008. That is too far back in the past.
Yeah.
Even if some of the things that were discussed in that paper are relevant, we have to think about the world that we live in today and what that world is going to look like in the next 25, 30 years and Cayman's place in the world. So if there's anybody listening out there, and I hope that this will be a topic of conversation moving forward, is that we have to come together. We have to have a vision for our country, not by some select few sitting in a small room, right, for the next 30 years for our country. It has to be established in legislation by our parliament, and the only deviation can be either a 2/3 or 100% majority in parliament, or it goes to referendum, right? There has to be some rule book that all of our parliamentarians work towards, irrespective who comes into government to lead at any given time. If we do not do that, it is my view that Cayman, we have been setting ourselves up for failure. It is proven that what we are doing is not working. Because absolutely, we're speaking about the same things over and over again like broken records.
It certainly seems so.
So we have to do something different. So we're coming upon the 1 o'clock news, I think, and I just want to leave it there, and I hope that somebody in some appropriate place is listening, because I would like, as a Caymanian, to spend the next 30 years of my life, if God gives me that long, to live in a country that knew where it's going.
Well, thank you so much for your call. It's a very, very important points that you made there.
You're welcome.
You have a good afternoon.
You too.
It is 1 o'clock, and that's news time.
Radio station. Radio Cayman is the voice of the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
With a look at your latest headlines, I'm Jevi Ebanks. The Cayman Islands Ministry of Sustainability and Climate Resiliency and Wellness has won the Best Energy Efficiency Project Award from the Caribbean Renewable Energy Forum. The 2-year program, funded by the European Union and supported by the Resilient Sustainable Energy and Marine Biodiversity Program, focused on reducing energy consumption in National Housing Development Trust homes and public sector buildings. Upgrades, including solar panels and high-efficiency air conditioning, led to significant savings, with one homeowner cutting electricity usage by 67.4%. The ministry says the initiative underscores the importance of energy efficiency in building a more sustainable future for the Cayman Islands. In regional news, in Bahamas, a 42-year-old man has been found guilty of indecent assault against his friend's 5-year-old son in November 2020. A 9-member jury delivered the verdict by a 7-2 majority after hours of deliberation. During the trial, the child, now 9 years old, recalled being picked up from school by the accused on 3 occasions and taken to his home, where the incidents occurred. The abuse came to light after the child's mother questioned him about unusual behavior. Following this, she sought medical attention and contacted the police. Trade ministers from the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States have convened a 2-day meeting to address shifts in global trade and their impact on the sub-region. Grenada's Minister for Foreign Affairs, Trade and Export Development, Joseph Andel, stressed the need for strategic adjustments in response to changes within the World Trade Organization, new U.S. trade policies, and developments in CARICOM. Discussions will focus on strengthening regional trade policies, advancing economic integration, and ensuring that OECS contributes to shaping the future of global trade. That is your latest headlines. I'm Jevi Ebanks.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Avernale Zini Foster Scott, 1915 to 2001. Miss Zini was born on Cayman Brac to Captain Bertie and Huldah Foster, the eldest of 7 children. From a young age, she helped her parents rear her younger siblings. In 1933, she married Captain Clyde Scott. Together, Miss Zini and Captain Clyde, along with their 9 children, raised cattle and crops, exported coconuts and thatch rope, owned and operated a general store, gasoline pump, and soft drink bottling plant, and were pioneers in the heavy equipment business, having established Scott Development Company in 1964. Although she had only a primary education, her natural leadership, business acumen, integrity, honesty, and ambition made her one of Cayman Brac's most successful women. Miss Zina worked in her office and until her early 80s and continued to sign the company's checks until a few weeks before her death. She was recognized by the Cayman Islands Real Estate Brokers Association in 1995 and received the Distinguished Woman Award from the Minister of Women's Affairs in 1999. Shortly before her death, she was awarded the Certificate and Badge of Honor.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your Sister Islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your Sister Islands.
Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. I'm Charles Glidden, your guest host here on Talk Today. Let's catch up on some WhatsApp messages. This one is referring to earlier call about Jamaica having good trade schools, and it says, that's so true. Michael Manley in the 70s put trade schools throughout Jamaica, and I can tell anyone that was the best thing ever happened to Jamaicans. And it wasn't just for young men alone, the young ladies also. Some of the best carpenters you can find is the young Jamaican women. I didn't know that. Another WhatsApp message. This one says, 85% of the construction companies don't have work for their work permit holders all year round. So a lot of those workers stay on island and go around freelancing undercutting Caymanian workers, mostly doing substandard work based on cheap labor. And those are two messages here on WhatsApp. This immigration reform is coming from everything that we've heard from the new government. The premier has said there's no need for any extended studies. All the studying has been done. We don't need any more consulting. The two parties, the Cayman Community Party and the National Party, have done their research on it. The Civil Service have produced a white paper study on it. So there's no need to go into any long process of dealing with this work permit reform. And they're saying they're going to bring things within their first 100 days. So, we can look for stuff to happen in the next 3 months. We have a caller on the line. Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Mr. Glidden. Raymond Scott here. I haven't talked to you in years.
Yeah, it's been a long time, Raymond.
Yes, sir. And you was one of the previous employees at Radio Cayman many years ago when I was the reporter for the weather forecast in the BRAC, right?
That's right.
That is right. I would call you several times, and Lomax Rankin and Ken Smith and all of those, and Ed Bush, all of those was
the old gang.
Yeah, correct. Everyone that worked there I talked with, because that was a long time ago that I would give the daily weather report from Cayman Brac, and now technology does that where they can stay in Grand Cayman and see that. And delightful to hear. I heard you yesterday passing your condolences for Mr. Ernie Scott. I'm a third cousin of Mr. Ernie, and I was devastated hearing the news. Him and I many times sat together. In fact, the night before he left Cayman Brac to go to get the MRIs in Grand Cayman, him and I sat together having dinner, and that was so good, and no one would ever think that would be the last time that I sat with him, and we used to have intense discussions. And he was the district commissioner when we had the devastation of Paloma, and I worked under him doing excavation jobs at the football.
He headed up that recovery, right?
Yes, that was during his responsibility and his tenure, correct. And I worked under him on jobs, like I said, doing excavation jobs by the swimming pool and the football field up on the bluff, and many other government projects that I worked on with the heavy equipment. And I passes my heartfelt condolences to all his family and friends. He leaves his daughter Tamra and his son Tanner, son and daughter, and to everybody. We are devastated here in Cayman Brac on his sudden destruction and passage. That is very, very heart-wrenching what happened to Mr. Ernie, and it shows us that what the things are after all of us in life.
Yeah, well, we never know. You never know.
Yes, yeah. Sir, understood. And I want to say that I will be doing the Seaman's tribute, as I always do, for every seaman from the seafaring family. He had his father, Mr. Erla Scott, was also many of the family members were in the seafaring community out at sea working, sending home allotments to keep their family going, like how many of us did here in Cayman Brac, all over the Cayman Islands. So I continue to keep up that tradition in honoring our seafarers. Well, it's a celebration for Mother's Day for the women, maritime celebration of having the ships to come by and blast their horns for Mother's Day, Father's Day, any special occasion, and also the tributes and salute and honor to all of our seamen that passes away. I maintained that up until a few days ago that was carried out.
So you still communicate with the ships?
Yes, certainly. I track the ships just about every night of what's coming from the coast of Brazil down through this area and from the U.S. Gulf coming this way. So I know in advance who's going to be, which ship going to be around here in 3 days' time from Corpus Christi, Texas, or who's coming around the coast of Brazil to be down this way in 2 weeks. That's why I have performed this outstanding search and rescue operation that I've been doing for 45 years because of knowing which ships come through the area, and I can call to the ship and get a response and tell them there is someone missing at sea, and I need you to conduct a search and rescue operation, searching for them. And quite an interesting one. The last show, agricultural show, the helicopter had landed there for the children and people to get a tour of the helicopter. So when I went there, I got a tour of the helicopter, looked all inside, and the three pilots and assistants, they said, Mr. Raymond, the first one that we are told when we get a report of a mishap at sea or an emergency at sea of a missing person, sinking boat, we are told to contact you, Raymond Scott, in the BRAC to send a ship to the scene so to assist the person or locate the persons or in the boat or the ship, whatever, until we get there. And that happened about 5 years ago when the helicopter was sent to a tanker that had a man with a broken and a severe bleeding leg, had fell down inside of the tank while climbing the ladder. And the helicopter went out, landed on the ship's deck, and brought him to Grand Cayman for immediate medical attention. That's one of the many hundreds of operations that I, Raymond Scott, have conducted during my tenure of doing what I do. And I am the savior of the seas. Anybody out there gets in trouble, contact Raymond Scott in the BRAC or that guy in the BRAC, and I act on it just like it's my family out there. I will never say no to who calls me any hour of the night. I've been awakened all hours tonight, and I act on it, and I will continue to do it because that's Raymond's way of life, to help others when they're in trouble.
All right. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're still doing that after all these years. I mean, it's been quite a while.
Voluntarily, I'm on no pay for that.
It's all voluntary.
Yeah,
fantastic.
All voluntarily. A lot of people in Grand Cayman say, "Oh, Raymond, we thought you was on a salary for that." I said, "Oh no, nothing. I just do that because I know how to do it. I can do it." Most everybody in Grand Cayman knows about Raymond that communicates with the ships and saves lives at sea. It's one of the most important things there is, to save lives. What is more great or nothing than to save lives?
Well, Raymond, it's nice to hear from you. Good talking to you. And I'm glad to hear that you're still keeping up your good works.
Yes, and one moment, how are you hearing me? I'm at a location that most of the communications are blocked. It's about 2 miles west of the end of the road, south side. It's by Otto Foster's old house. That is quite an interesting thing. It's up in the bush. You can't even see it now.
You're coming through reasonably clear. You know, a little crackle in there, but I'm not having any trouble hearing you.
Okay, that's why I called from here. I wanted to test out the communications from this location because mostly it is bad from this area. Okay, sir, you're doing a great job, and you're going to be on there for a while?
Yeah, I'm guest hosting here for a while. We'll see how it goes.
Very good. Yes, all the best then, and have a good afternoon. Good luck to you and your family.
Thank you, and the same to you, Raymond. Take care, man.
Yes, thank you. Bye-bye.
Raymond Scott, a legend in his own time. And getting back to immigration, the subject of the day, let's take a look here at what we might expect coming from the government. I've gone to, the webpage for the Caymanian Community Party to see what they had in their manifesto. And one of the things that they're saying here, our immigration system needs to ensure Caymanians are put first for jobs and career opportunities while still enabling our business community to thrive. We will prioritize developing a national workforce development strategy and human capital plan and reform our work permit system accordingly. As our workforce is made up of many different nationalities, our aim is to foster inclusion by introducing programs that encourage work permit holders and residents from overseas to understand our community values and integrate better in our society. TCCP will promote a stronger, fairer work permit system by reforming the eligibility requirements for temporary work permits, accelerating the decision-making process in relation to regular work permits, making certain categories of work permits more difficult to obtain, improving the administrative function of the work permit system, strengthening and expanding the enforcement function of WORC, W-O-R-C, in relation to work permits, making the Work Online job portal more effective and accessible to ensure Caymanians can easily find and apply for available opportunities. Now, that's one I've heard about a complaint about, that the website is not user-friendly enough. Ensuring coordination between the Scholarship Secretariat, Work, and Civil Service recruitment to prioritize job placements for returning graduates. That's an important one too. Reviewing and correcting loopholes in the Immigration Act and regulations. TCCP will promote a fairer permanent residency system through implementing a required rollover system in the civil service, with eligible persons being grandfathered in. Revamping the PR point system to make it more equitable to obtain and reflect the priorities of the National Human Capital Plan. Removing the requirements to invest in property as a means of earning points to help address housing shortages. Strengthening and expanding the enforcement function of work and CBC in relation to permanent residency. Workforce development. Introducing employer incentives for Caymanian workforce development, conducting national skills surveys to align workforce development with job market needs, mandating employers to register all jobs as part of the National Workforce Register, including those based overseas, reinforcing a minimum 2-year national public service requirement for all scholarship recipients, which is accompanied by a structured professional development plan. Introducing a non-profit to provide year-round employment for marginalized Caymanians entering or re-entering the workforce to help them obtain gainful employment. Develop tiered funding structures that prioritize high-speed industries such as financial services, healthcare, IT, and skilled services and trades. Prioritize funding for training programs that address skills gaps in key industries, and prepare a national workforce development strategy and human capital plan. A targeted permit system and more discerning path to permanent residency will bring a better balance to our workforce, opening doors for Caymanians and supporting the long-term success of our economy and society. So those are the objectives of the Caymanian Community Party side of the coalition. Let's take a look at the National Party's manifesto as far as immigration. Let me just take a little drink of water here. CINP is committed to immigration reform that works for all Caymanians. CINP will take the following actions: review requirements and legislation for the road to Caymanian citizenship that includes permanent residency as well as Caymanian status, introduce a higher level of accountability for organizations in relation to hiring and training Caymanians, e.g., introduce more apprenticeship programs, implement technology that works and adequately shares information across interrelated agencies and departments, e.g., scholarship, secretariat, enforcement, police, immigration boards, amend the legislation to ensure the country is attracting best entrepreneurs, innovators, professionals, skilled and essential workers to support sustainable economic growth while protecting the preferential rights of current and future Caymanians. Amend the legislation to ensure government is held to the same requirements as private sector employers. This will prevent a large number of people being able to develop rights to remain in the Cayman Islands forever without any formal independent vetting. Use enforcement to address work permits sought for or maintained by employers who do not have any or have inadequate work for foreign workers, resulting in the foreign workers working outside of permit restrictions. 2, using the time on island to apply for jobs elsewhere in the industry or economy. Or 3, operating illegal businesses, e.g., mobile car washes. There's a lot of those. Introduce more apprenticeship requirements to business staffing plans. While most organizations currently have scholarship requirements, more hands-on training opportunities should be provided by organizations that afford Caymanians the opportunity to learn on the job. The vehicle that is currently available to help provide these opportunities is the apprenticeship condition that can be added to more business staffing plans. And that was the National Party's objectives there. And you can see there are some overlapping objectives between those two parties. And of course, then you have the independent faction of the government, and I'm sure they have their objectives too. But a lot of these are overlapping. People are on the same page there. You want to get in on the conversation, please give us a call. You can give us a ring on 1-800-534-8255, compliments of Flow. Or you can also call us at 949-6990. WhatsApp 925-3261. Give us a call, leave us a message. Let's check in on this. If I can get this to open. Actually, this WhatsApp refers to something that was just in one of the points there from the National Party. 85% of the construction companies don't have work for their work permit holders all year round. So a lot of those workers stay on the island and go around freelancing, undercutting Caymanian workers. And this one is in reference to Raymond. Raymond, I hope you're still listening. It says, Raymond has a purpose. No compensation. Yeah, he's been at that for a long time. Out there, anybody needing help at sea, Raymond has been there to help coordinate rescue efforts. And like I say, he's been doing that for a long time. So what do you think about some of these points that the government is going to be bringing? Certainly what we just went over there is going to be part of their program. And we're going to be seeing this say within 3 months. They're saying 100 days. So we're in the clock is running on that. So we'll be looking for what they're going to be bringing as far as immigration reform. Right now, let's take a break. We'll be right back with more talk today.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo.
Hungry? Need Subway any time of the day?
Yeah.
We've got you covered. Subway at Anderson Square, Centennial Towers, and Countryside Shopping Village is open 24/7, serving up fresh, delicious subs anytime you need them. And for your weekend cravings, West Shore Center is also open 24 hours on Friday nights and until 1 a.m. on Saturdays, because it's never too late for a great meal. Skip the line and order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app, or get your favorites delivered straight to your door with Bento and Let's Eat. Fresh, fast, and always here when you need us. Subway, eat fresh.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin are the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
The Economics and Statistics Office is currently conducting the annual business surveys until June 13th. The surveys collect information to answer questions like, how did the economy perform in 2024? In 2024, how much did foreign companies invest in the Cayman Islands? The surveys include all relevant entities that produce goods and services in the Cayman Islands. The surveys are confidential under the Statistics Act and are exempt from the Freedom of Information Act. Your response matters. Do your part. Fill out and return your survey forms to the ESO. Remember, better data, better decisions, better business. For assistance in filling out the forms, or for more information, visit eso.ky or call 244-4676 or 244-4600.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back to Talk Today. And just want to let you know, tomorrow on Talk Today, we're going to be having some conversation about education, and we'll be hearing from a delegation from the I Read for Life Center that attended the World Literacy Summit at Oxford University. So they'll be joining me here in the studio to tell us about what they learned on their attendance. And they actually made a presentation also, and talk about education in general. Let's go back here to some of the things that the National Party side of the government coalition have set out that they wanted to accomplish. And this one is, I guess you could say, immigration related, since it says employment opportunities. And says, we are committed to laying the groundwork for a thriving community where opportunity is just not a word, but a reality for all Caymanian citizens. CINP will take the following actions: implement a national workforce development plan. The TCCP, they were talking about a human capital plan. So that's something similar. implement a national workforce development plan that uses government and private sector industry education collaboration to provide a robust analysis for preparing Caymanians with the necessary workforce skills and qualifications to successfully meet the labor market needs at all levels across the Cayman Islands' current and emerging industry. And that, our first caller got onto that. Young people aren't being prepared adequately to go out into the world and join the workforce. You know, you can't just go onto a construction site and you're a skilled block layer, you know, or a carpenter. But they could have been prepared to do that. If that's, you know, by high school, a person kind of knows whether they're going to be an academic kind of person, whether they're going to pursue college, or rather they would like to learn a trade. And trades make good money. So when they come out of school, if a person is going in that direction, they come out of high school, they should be able to go right into the workforce with skills, be a mechanic, be a carpenter, you know, be a mason. Why? Why hasn't that been done? Hopefully, with this new government, things are going to start to happen in that direction. Another point they make, another objective, amend the immigration legislation to ensure the country is protecting the preferential employment rights of current and future Caymanians and attracting the best entrepreneurs, innovators, and professionals, skilled and essential workers to support sustainable economic growth. Amend immigration legislation to ensure government is held to the same requirements as private sector employers. Work to investigate and enforce immigration law compliance against organizations who demonstrate potential biases or systemic issues within their hiring, training, promotion, or retention practices that disadvantage Caymanians. Encourage businesses to hire and invest in local talent instead of relying on imported labor by introducing a foreign worker opportunity fee. And that's with a tiered foreign worker levy to prevent over-reliance on low-cost foreign labor while managing cost without causing inflation. Employers must pay an annual opportunity fee per foreign worker in addition to the customary work permit fee, discouraging excessive hiring of low-cost foreign labor. Higher opportunity fees on low-skilled foreign workers and skilled foreign professionals in jobs and sectors in which citizens aspire to work that have a high percentage of foreign workers. Opportunity fee revenues reinvested by government into local workforce training and stipends for Caymanians in apprenticeship work programs so that they have livable wages while they are training. All right. Saw something pop up there on WhatsApp. Do we have a WhatsApp call? No, we don't. Okay. But those are some of the things there that the National Party wanted to do. And I think there's some similar things going on with the TCCP faction. Looks like they are out to really overhaul this whole system. We have a call?
Yes, I was trying to call, yes.
Oh, yes.
Is it fine?
Yes, you're on the air.
Oh, okay, very well, because it had just cut off and then it called back.
Yeah, we've been having some little trouble there with some of the tech.
Yes, I know this is my second call, so I'll be very, very, very brief. I was really inspired.
I don't think we have any other callers on the line, so you can talk.
Yes, thanks very much for that. I was really inspired to call again because of Miss Suzanne Bothwell, who called a little bit earlier on, because I wanted to underline some
fantastic point she made.
Yes, the point she made. I mean, not that she needs me to validate her, but I just felt that I should do that. You see, she is yet another example of what I spoke about, what other people spoke about, and what she herself spoke about, although she did not make herself personally as an issue. That's somebody I know reasonably well. We worked in the same portfolio, although we're in different departments. I interacted with her quite a bit, and I found that she had leadership qualities. She was polite. She was firm when she needed to be. That's the way I grew to know her. And she said that she was in government for 25 years. I think about 20 of those years, she was involved in litigation. If you go to the Cayman Islands law reports, you will see her name there, either as Suzanne Lucloy or Suzanne Bothwell, appearing in some of the leading cases. You tell me, Charles, why today she is not a judge? They took her to the, and I feel comfortable to talk about this because she is now no longer working like full-time in government. She might be sitting as a magistrate. I don't know whether she's still doing that. So I feel safe to talk about that. Tell me why she's not a judge. In fact, recently, this year, they recruited a judge from the UK. Are you telling me that she's not qualified? Because to be appointed as a judge in the Cayman Islands, you need only 10 years experience. She's got more than twice that experience. Why wasn't he treated like a gem? In my view, she should have been treated like a gem. In a judiciary where there are really no Caymanians, there are some status holders. A qualified Caymanian like that, there should have been a priority given to her. For example, you can make a law. She talked about legislation. You can make legislation which says that for you to be, when you are recruiting judges or anybody for that matter in the civil service, if there is a Caymanian who qualifies and there are no problems, they should be appointed, even if there is somebody from the UK who is a knighted person and this and that. If there had been a rule like that, I believe she would have been appointed. And that is, I think, what probably she was talking about when she said, you can do these things by way of legislation. Look at it also, how many Caymanian cases do you have? I don't know, Wade Da Costa, Brian Hunter, David Rich, Steve McField, the leading lawyers in the Cayman Islands, some of them who have retired. How many of them are cases? Nobody is a KC. Why? Because there's no policy or any legislation which forces people to be, who are local people, to be recognized. And so what is happening is that the young kids who are growing up, Caymanian kids going through the Caymanian society, are not seeing their own being honored as KCs. So it develops in their mind that maybe they are not that smart. It reminds me some time back, about 5 years ago or so, when Kenneth Bryan was still in opposition. He brought a motion to Parliament and he said, can we pass a motion to ensure that all heads of departments and deputy heads of department in 5 years in government and public authorities should be Caymanian? Do you know how much support he got? Zero. The government didn't support him. The opposition didn't support him. So how can you say you've got a vision? That's why I agree with her. There is no vision. How could you introduce, for example, rollover almost 20 years ago, about 23 years ago, about 20 years ago, and then you say it won't apply to government? And now today, 20 years later, you are saying, oh, that was a mistake. You see, people now are leaving the private sector to go to government so that they can get PR. Well, first of all, you can't blame them for that. But secondly, don't you think that was predictable? That's why I think I really agree with her when she says that there is no vision among the politicians. They have talked and talked and talked, but there's no vision. It is time to stop talking. And as she says, it's time to legislate on these matters and then implement. I thank you for your time.
Well, let me ask you something. You may know the answer to this. Is there a sort of policy that we don't have Caymanian judges? I know at one point I've heard, oh, well, the community is so small that you need an outside judge to be impartial.
Oh, well, I'm glad you've raised that. These, first of all, there's no, to answer your question first before I make my point, there is no policy, there's no legislation, there's no established practice which says that there should be judges from outside. There is no such policy. That is point number one. Two, I thought that what you would want, even in a small society, is to have your own people judging you. I have had lawyers who have gone to court. I won't cite the name of the lawyer, but he said it on radio. He said he went to court one time just before Christmas. He had a client for drunken driving who was a local client, and the lawyer was client as well. And then there was a British lawyer with a British client, also for drunken driving. They left court that day with the Caymanian client and the lawyer. The judge immediately withdrew the license of that person who had not yet been convicted. And so he went home without a license. The British lawyer and the client was allowed to drive even through Christmas with their license. In other words, their license was not suspended. And this lawyer said it on radio and said, you see, this is how we get discriminated against. And the reason why that discrimination is so strong is because you don't have local people judging yourselves. In England, you remember how the whole system of the jury started. Even in small communities, they used to say that somebody should be judged by a jury of their peers, somebody who lived in their community and so forth. So that is the policy doesn't exist and it's wrong. But talking about foreign judges, I'm glad you raised that. You see, there's this case which has just happened on Friday. I think it was the Court of Appeal has given an indication that in the case where the administrator for CMR was charged for allegedly abusing a telecommunication device.
Cyberbullying or something?
I mean?
Is that the one with cyberbullying?
Yes, exactly. The cyberbullying. What happened in that case? Who was the judge who was sitting in that? It was not a local judge. It was actually a judge from the UK who was an acting judge. He's not even fully appointed in the Cayman Islands. He's an acting judge. And he gave a judgment where it said, well, even if you are telling the truth, it doesn't matter. We won't even get into that. You are cyberbullying somebody. I know that this case doesn't exist in England, but I'm finding you guilty. I'm fining you $3,000. The Court of Appeal, when the matter went to the Court of Appeal, they didn't even waste time on it. Usually the Court of Appeal, even if they think your case is weak, they will give you time to argue it so that they can rule on it. In this particular case, they didn't even do that. Straight away, they gave an indication that the grounds of appeal were good, and they basically said, we're going to allow the appeal, but we want you to get proper lawyers to come and argue this case so that we can give a judgment which will be a precedent. And the last Friday, there was a KC who was brought in by the DPP, a KC who was representing the Cayman Mao Road, and both KCs agreed that the judge was totally wrong in convicting her. And this is a foreign judge. He has given such a judgment which is so bad that even the DPP's lawyers had to concede that the person should not have been convicted. And clearly, in my view, she was targeted because some people, of course, don't like the way she operates. And to me, there has to be an inquiry from RCIPS, from the DPP's office, even the judges, to find out exactly how such a terrible mistake would have been made. And this was a mistake made by a foreign judge. And to conclude, Charles, some of these judges who are brought in, particularly those who are acting, they are job seekers. Like this particular judge, I dug him out. He runs a firm in England which is a consultancy firm. So he's got the chambers side, and then he's got a consultancy firm. So this is somebody who is going to Cyprus and different places to go and adjudicate on cases, but also to just be a consultant on legal issues. So clearly, in my view, he was trying to curry favor with the government in the hope, probably, that they may give him consultancy work. So
let me ask you about that particular case, but I know it was happening, but I didn't get to really follow it. So in the appeal, what it was, because if it's true, it's not bullying?
Okay, yes. You see, what happened was the defense that CMR mounted. It wasn't CMR actually, because they sued the individual Sandra Hill. That's why the case is called Sandra Hill against the Crown. She said, well, look, how can you tell me that I'm cyberbullying somebody? I'm a media house. There were allegations against a particular person who is run for office, and therefore you can expect public scrutiny. And so how can you say that what I allege, it doesn't matter whether it is true or not? Because how am I going to run a media house if you are going to say, even if I tell the truth, documented and even with witnesses, that still I'll be found liable? Why? Because I have, in your view, cyberbullied somebody. And by the way, she also pointed out that this didn't exist. This offense did not exist even in England, this particular type of offense of misusing a device like that.
Yeah.
There are some other related offenses, but not this particular one. So this was just in Cayman. So what happened was, when it went to the Court of Appeal said, oh, no, you have to consider the constitutional question. There is a freedom of speech. And that freedom of speech is sacrosanct, but you can only undercut it if somebody else is going to be affected negatively. Like if you're telling a lie about somebody. You know the old thing about you've got freedom of speech, but you can't shout fire in a crowded theater.
And
so
then if it's not liable if it's true.
Exactly. It's not liable if it's true. And the Court of Appeal is saying the judge should have looked at the Constitution, freedom of expression, look at the exceptions to it, and see whether this person should have been convicted. And they said, no, he shouldn't have been convicted. And the important thing is they did not just say that she shouldn't have been convicted. They just said from the very beginning, he got it all wrong from the beginning. So, but the formal judgment will be coming out later. And I think that will assist people who are in the media, but also they must take care. They must ensure that they double check, because if it is found that what you are alleging is not true, you can still be found to be liable. By the way, I think that, that particular person, in my opinion, was targeted specifically. She has been to court. This is the 8th time that the government has taken her to court, criminal and civil matter, and each time she has won. This is the 8th time that she's going to win. I think the people in government should be ashamed that your own Caymanian lady, who is doing genuine business, you might not agree with everything she does, but your own person, you targeted her to try and destroy her business.
She defended herself in this one also.
Pardon me?
She was our own defense attorney in this one also?
Well, this one, she had hired a lawyer in the Grand Court, but she fired the lawyer towards the end because she thought that the lawyer was not sufficiently representing her. But when she went to the Court of Appeal, she represented herself. But the court, after they heard her arguments, they said the arguments were so good, they raised important points. Then they advised her to get a specialist in human rights lawyer, who she got. And so ultimately that lawyer also went to court and agreed with her, agreed with the judge. Everybody was agreed, the DPP, her lawyer, as well as the judges. So we expect the judgment to come out very soon. It will be a very significant case, not just in Cayman, but I think beyond Cayman.
Oh, really? What makes you think beyond Cayman?
Well, it's sometimes it takes one brave person to fight, to take a bullet for the rest, and then it will be clarified. And I think a lot of people are going to benefit from that on all sides. I think Cayman will become better for it once that judgment is come out, and we learn exactly the details which the court has already indicated that they are going to give.
All right.
Thank you. Thanks very much. I didn't mean to talk this long, but you know,
interesting stuff. Interesting stuff.
Thank you very much.
All right. You have a good afternoon. We're going to take a break and then more talk today.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Looking to transform your space? From custom homes to commercial spaces, we bring your vision to life with precision, quality, and elegance. At Mike's Builders, we make it happen.
Mike's Builders turned my dream home into a reality. Their team is professional, efficient, and truly the best in the business. Good communication? Check. Cleanliness? Check. Professionalism? On point. You have to try Mike's Builders for yourself.
Call us today at 923-0706. That's 923-0706. Mike's Builders. Let's build a beautiful world together.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Protect your computers and mobile devices with security software to defend against cyber attacks through viruses, malware, and other online threats. Be aware of unsecure Wi-Fi connections when in public. If you need to access your online banking or sensitive information on your mobile devices, try disabling the Wi-Fi and switching to data from your mobile network. If you suspect a fraud attempt, please contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skin care, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drportercayman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
You heard that the Veg program taking applications again? What that is? Veg, man! The Minister of Tourism's program that helping Caymanians create new tourism products and services.
Oh, I had heard about that, yeah. My friend was one of the successful applicants from the last round. I might apply for that still.
Nothing wrong, child. After you got great ideas for things tourists would love to buy, try so check out the website rcayman.ky/VEDGP for more information and apply.
I'm going to do that right now.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back to Talk Today, and we have a little WhatsApp message here. This is good afternoon. Customs and Border Control job creation. This is, I have a suggestion I would like to offer you and your audience to consider on better protecting our borders. It would be really nice if our government would seriously consider purchasing 2 or 3 UK frigates or U.S. Coast Guard vessels to patrol our 3 islands and increase our local Coast Guard personnel numbers by 200 or 300. These vessels could be easily purchased by issuing a treasury bond. Bonds are something that is usually offered by governments when their taxes are insufficient to pay for infrastructure development costs. Well, I know 2 or 3 UK frigates would cost a lot, I'll tell you that. I don't know if we need that many vessels to patrol our waters. We do have a Coast Guard. They have a ship and maybe another one of those would certainly help the situation. We were talking about appeals before the break, and speaking of appeals, I see the DPP is appealing the dismissal of the McKeeva-Bush indecent assault case. So that saga will be continuing. And another story in the news here. about artificial intelligence revolutionizing the economies of Cayman and those across the Caribbean. This is a person out of Graham Sunley of PricewaterhouseCoopers. Cayman's territory leader said the use of AI and emerging technologies were significant opportunities for financial services sector and the country, adding that risk assessment, portfolio management, compliance, and valuation all stood to benefit. AI, that's everywhere you look now. You know, you don't need to really write anything anymore. You just go to ChatGPT or Copilot and say, write me a story about this. Write me a press release. Write me a letter. Write me a nice business letter. And you tell them what you want to say, and it does it really nice for you. Make you look like a real professional. So you get a letter, you don't know whether it was genuinely written by someone or was AI. And don't believe anything that you see in a video online anymore, because the stuff that they can do with AI, they can make people say things that they never said. They can make someone sound like someone else. Make animation that has a voice that is belonging to someone. It's absolutely amazing what can be done. I've seen an ad made, and the image of a person, and the image of the person, it looks like a real person. And you know that kind of stiff computer voice that we used to have? That's no more. They have computer voices now that they sound so human. They have all the right inflections. They have a certain accent. You would believe that a real person is talking to you, and it's not a real person. It's a computer. It's software talking to you. So anything that you see online that's a video, take a second look, maybe even a third or fourth look, and make sure that that is real before you think that it really happened. Technology has gone out of sight now. It's you don't know what's going to happen next. We're coming up on 2 o'clock, so that means that it's time for us to check in with the newsroom.
Covering Little Cayman, Cayman Bride.
Cover me. Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market.
With a look at your latest headlines, I'm Jevi Ebanks. The Cayman Islands Ministry of Planning, Lands, Agriculture, Housing, Infrastructure, and the Department of Agriculture are celebrating International Day of Plant Health, highlighting the vital connection between plant health, human well-being, and environmental sustainability. With nearly 40% of global crops lost to pests and diseases annually, the government is reinforcing biodiversity measures and promoting sustainable agriculture practices to safeguard food security and biodiversity. Officials urge public participation in plant health protection efforts, emphasizing its role in sustaining the nation's ecosystem and economy. In regional news, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves has firmly ruled out supporting any organization of Eastern Caribbean states country that operates citizenship by investment programs. He reiterated his long-standing opposition, describing the CBI program as selling passports, and warned of its potential risk. Gonsalves argued that the program is unsustainable, relying on visa-free access from the EU and Britain, which he noted are increasingly moving against such schemes. His remarks follow a sharp response from the Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister Gaston Brown, who defended CBI programs as an economic innovation for developing nations. Lawyers representing Trinidad and Tobago attorney Varun Debeen have appealed a ruling by High Court Judge Justice Frank Serpasad, arguing he had no authority to defer the lawyer to the disciplinary committee of the Law Association of Trinidad and Tobago. British King's Counsel Tom Richard contends that the referral lacks legal basis, as no finding of professional misconduct or criminal wrongdoing was made against him. The appeal seeks to have the judge's referral set aside, asserting that the decision was procedurally unfair and outside judicial jurisdiction. That's your latest headlines. I'm Jevi Ebanks.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Radio Cayman Talk Today continues.
Welcome back, and we're down into our the last half hour rather, and of course we had our elections, and we had the observers come from overseas to take a look, and I think it was a pretty good report generally. There was universal praise for the work of the elections office and the professionalism and dedication of the officials led by the supervisor of elections. And that is something that Cayman can really be proud of, the way that the elections office handles the whole process. I don't think you can really find anything to complain about there. This report that I see was from the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. Says the report describes how polling was calm and peaceful, and the election process was well organized. It notes that polling stations were well prepared, staff were trained and knowledgeable, and returning and presiding officers showed excellent leadership when problems arose. Election observers found the inclusion of people with disabilities was exemplary. The election campaign was vibrant, competitive, and peaceful, according to observers. That's something that we're really, really blessed with in Cayman, that we can have elections and not have to worry about, incidents of violence. I mean, in some places, you go to vote, you would see armed police, all sorts of security, and there were security procedures in place at our polling stations too. But police were there, and I had to think. I voted a prospect, and I had to think. The police were more like ushers rather than a security force. They were helping people to find the right place to go, directing people. And so many places in the world that an election is taking place, and sometimes people are even afraid to go out. It's something that we really have to be thankful for. And another item in the news, I see that Cayman might be benefiting for the unfortunate situation that is happening in Haiti. The security situation over there doesn't seem to be getting any better, if anything worse. And the cruise lines are pulling out of Haiti, even though they have their own, resort that they control themselves. And Cayman is actually benefiting from what's unfortunately happening in Haiti there, because they're not calling in there, and instead Cayman is being put on the list. So if you want to get in some thoughts here on Talk Today, you can give us a call. Our numbers are 1-800-534-8255. That one's compliments of Flow. You can also call us at 949-6990 or WhatsApp. Give us a call, send us a message, 925-3261. And I really got a surprise today for a call from Raymond Scott. Yeah, he took us back. I know back in the day, we always heard from Raymond every day. And it was nice to know that he is still out there communicating with the ships. That's like our connection to our seafaring past, I guess. A lot of those major ships that are going by Cayman, he keeps in touch with them. And I remember when he would call sometime and say, the world's largest ship is passing right by Grand Cayman now. If you want to see the world's largest ship. So good to hear from him over there in Cayman Brac. And let's see what else we could talk about here. Now here's something that is most disappointing. Cash donations stolen from Humane Society thrift shop. That's a story in the paper today. Some people will go to any lengths. Or does it speak to desperation? Are these just people who might call them despicable, or are they desperate people? Are these people that are so down that they would stoop that low to go and steal money from a charity? It makes you stop and think. The story here in the Compass, it's the thrift shop manager, Ms. Douglas, said she's not sure when over the weekend the burglary occurred, but thieves took a fair amount of time to gain entry, and the steel back door had been bolted at the top and bottom with a locked handle in the middle. And they this is something that we don't want to see. I mean, yeah, a lot of places get broken, but to go and take money that has been donated, that really makes you shake your head, But those sort of things prop up in our country, and crime is it part of progress? We've always had thieves, I guess, but sometimes as we get busier, the place is developing, crime comes with it. And it's really a negative part of development. Sometimes it's because people have found themselves in positions that they become desperate, and that's their last resort. But it's hard to think of that in this kind of Cayman. You could not find some way of making an honest living. I mean, there's so many jobs out there that you must be able to find something to do to make, some kind of money. I remember we had a WhatsApp the other day, and this person was saying they were pumping gas, and they didn't have a problem that they were pumping gas. They were making $10 an hour, and that's more than some people make. So, you got to be willing to do things that can make you some kind of income. The same way you do what you have to do until you can do what you want to do. But some people would say they would rather break into some place than to go pump gas. What kind of mentality brings people to that? Sometimes it's very hard to understand. Why would people turn to doing crime rather than, taking a job? I remember someone that I know had their electric bike stolen, and she was so distressed over that. Why don't they just find work, she said. But some people would rather do crime than to find an honest job. There's always going to be that element in the society, and I guess that's why we have to have police to keep them between the police between the people who want to do crime and the people who would do an honest day's job. Now, we're going to be moving forward here in Cayman. Like we've been talking about, that we have a new government, and those are some of the things that they're going to have to be contending with. So we're going to be looking forward to see how they deal with things such as crime in Cayman. We have a caller on the line. Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon. You're on the air. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks. I'm just tuning in as usual, a little bit late, and I want to pick up on the discussion that you're having, and what I wanted to see. I know Cayman has grown and developed and evolved quite a lot since the last 20 years. But I do feel that as I said the other day when I called it, I do feel that there are some areas, some occupations that can still be reserved only for Caymanians. One thing I would like to see happen, and I'm going to jump all over the place here, is that when it comes to a business license, I'd love to see the new government implement application fees, which are a little bit different for non-Caymanians, because I do know that there's non-Caymanians who apply for small business licenses of 4 persons, and then I think the next category is 10 persons. I would like to see the fees for Caymanian entrepreneurs based on certain categories be fluctuated. So as opposed to having an application fee of $75 across the board for a regular business license, which are called what are they called again? They're not corporations, right? They're just I can't remember.
Oh, like one person taking out a sole proprietor or something?
Sole proprietorship, yes, that's the name. I'd like to see business fees staggered for different categories for Caymanians. So if a Caymanian wants to take out and they have, you have to produce all of your documents to prove your citizenship and so forth. I'd like to see fees a little bit more affordable for Caymanians. So in terms of landscaping, could be a $25 filing fee, application fee for Caymanians. That way it could open the door, because you'd be surprised, a lot of Caymanians can't come up with $75 for an application fee, but they'd love to be small business owners, and I'd love to see it where the planning laws are reviewed and amended a little bit, where more businesses can be run from your residential, wherever you're residing. It doesn't have to be that you have a commercial property based on your occupation and that sort of thing. But these are all changes I'd like to see for Caymanians. And again, I'd like to see certain categories of occupations be reserved only for Caymanians, because remember, I forgot to mention this category the other day when I called. A lot of Caymanians, especially the younger ones too, was in the diving industry, the tourism industry. I know I mentioned bellboy and that sort of thing, but they were in the industry where they were on the beaches. They were meeting the tourists. They were doing the water sports, operating and all that kinds of stuff. Our Caymanians cannot get into those occupations anymore. They're all filled by, work permit holders. They were sales agents in Kirk Freeport and all the other waterfront stores and so forth. Most of those places are now occupied by work permit holders. And I know they say we don't have enough Caymanians to fill all of the occupations, but I still believe that there are occupations that we do have Caymanians who would still love to fill those positions. And I strongly would hope, I believe, we have who our premier is from West Bay, which was a strong tourism industry destination, strong tourism industry district. Yes. And East End was another district that, the people from there were strongly in the tourism industry. And so I know we've grown, like I said, and we cannot go back to the past, but there are still things that we can do to retain or put those things back in place. Because when we go to other Caribbean and West Indian destinations, their people are front and foremost. Even some of the smaller destinations, I think Anguilla is small like us, and their people are front and foremost, front line with all of their tourism products and stuff like that. So that's my take on that right now. But I hope someone, the government is listening, and I think they're going to be reviewing all of those things and hope we can get back. Because I don't strongly believe, even if they smoke marijuana, I don't strongly believe that our Caymanian people do not want to work. I believe, based on my feedback I'm getting, with people coming to me, that Caymanians are feeling that they're being pushed out and pushed in the corner. Imported labor is taking priority because they can pay them less and they can deal with them and handle them how they want. I think another thing that should be mandatory in the Cayman Islands is customer service training across the board, especially in frontline positions, so that way the employers don't have to complain that Caymanians don't have any manners or they don't want to do this and they don't want to do that. I would like to see that happen also. But I don't believe
regardless of where you go, people have to be trained as
right.
to how to interact with customers.
Right. And they talk, the other thing I hear them talk about is Caymanians don't know how to dress properly, and it would be unbelievable how I see some people going to dress in professional positions that are non-Caymanians, or how they dress. I mean, we saw at the court's house level that the new Chief Justice had to put a dress code in for the court's office, and most of those positions of people that come before the courts to represent persons are non-Caymanians. And, so across the board, we need to, I know there's Caymanians that don't want to work, and there's Caymanians that don't know how to dress, and some that go to work and be a little face-thin, whatever.
And you find those people everywhere.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was just about to say. We find those people everywhere. But for the most part, I am putting my head in the chopping block that is not what the majority or even most of our people. Our people want to work. I've even promoted on my pages some establishments that I go to, and I see especially our young people that are there working. They're courteous, they're professional, they're hospitable, they're pleasant. And some of them will come to the side and say, Miss Patricia, when I introduce myself, I'm having this problem on the job, and I'm having this problem on the job. And this is happening in the tourism industry, in the commercial industry, all different industries. And so we that's what's happening with our people. We're feeling like we're being they're feeling like I can include myself in that we're being pushed aside and pushed in the corner because imported labor is becoming they favor it more, and it's more affordable. And Caymanians are feeling like, like a dog, when you keep kicking the dog and kicking the dog,
Mm-hmm.
the dog, it's going to get angry and start to feel aggressive and want to lash out. And I think that's how our people are becoming.
Well, someone brought it up the other day, a caller, and he was saying that the conditions of some of the expat workers that are brought in, they're willing to work for little or nothing because it's better than what they had at home.
Right. Yes.
So yes, you can pay them less, and they work for it.
Right. And they will number up in places where they reside and stuff like that. Caymanians don't really have that luxury, because this is our home.
It's not a way of life either.
Right, exactly. And I saw in another person's post on Facebook this morning that she had a video, I'm not going to say the nationality, but there was a video of a lady, very beautiful lady, an immigrant. I don't like to use the word expat, but an immigrant. And she's beautiful, and she's driving in this car and taking a video, and it looks like a nice car, too, from the surrounding. And obviously she's not driving, but the wording on the video is basically saying, trying to be happy in the Cayman Islands, even though it's expensive and whatever. And I'm thinking and it's a well-known media platform blogger, I'm going to say that, who had it on their page. And I'm thinking to myself, well, she posted it on her page and indicated, why not go back home? And I'm not going to take that position and that mindset, but I'm thinking, if the Cayman Islands is so expensive, yes, why are you here? Why are you promoting it on a video when it's so expensive and it's providing your way of life and your living? You choose to stay here and to live here and work here, but yet you're promoting media that is oh gosh, it's
a negative view of Cayman.
Right, a negative view of Cayman, exactly right. And so we're seeing. I'm sure she's in a position that a Caymanian could be working, and we really have to get out and start. Every MP in their district should have an open door day when unemployed Caymanians come in and say, I am unemployed, to have a true and accurate count of the unemployment numbers in the Cayman Islands. We're not doing these little makeshift surveys or whatever that a lot of people don't get a chance to take. Every MP should have an open door that Caymanians who are unemployed come into their district on that day or two or whatever and say, hey, I'm unemployed, get my name down in the list, so the government will have an accurate account. And we really need to buckle down because, as I said the other day, in the U.S., you cannot just nilly-willy apply for a work visa for just anyone that comes to the island. If a country like that has the border controls that they have, why can't we do it here in the Cayman Islands? You know what I'm saying? And it should be more so because we have that flexibility. Even though we're a dependent territory, we still have that flexibility to make our own laws and our own policies. And so we should be able to have more tightened, restricted policies because we're at a place right now, Mr. Glidden, where we have enough right now that we can pick and choose, right?
Certainly, that things are busting open here. I mean, everywhere you look, something is happening. Right. Listen, I think I got another caller on the line, yes, and I'm running out of time. Thank you so much for calling.
For taking me again. Have a good afternoon.
You have a good afternoon.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
And let's see if we can get our last caller in here. Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Mr. Glidden. How are you?
I'm fine. And yourself?
I'm thankful that I got a chance to pop in here.
You'll get the last word.
I know. I called yesterday. As a young Caymanian, I must say I just want to give some information. And I totally agree with the caller before. He always has some really great points. Cayman is, as we would say, quote unquote, the gem of the Caribbean. Mm-hmm. We have to say that. But we did take a few of our issues from another country, which is, to be factual, we took it from Bermuda the PR policy. And the actual formation of it was basically a comparative measure to Bermuda when it became the 7-year and then it became the 9-year. And just to give you some information on what jobs, they're called closed category jobs in Bermuda. Closed category jobs that an expat, or I don't know how they break it down, could it be a spouse of a Caymanian or it has to be a born Caymanian. But there's some jobs that no one else can have, not a work permit holder for sure. And there are painters, airline grounds agents, cashiers, taxi drivers, tourist retail persons, salesperson, receptionists, couriers, to name a few. And I'm sure couriers.
Those are reserved.
Reserved only for Caymanians. That's factual. You can just pop up on Government of Bermuda and research it, and you will find these facts. And it's nothing that every other country, like we started the $1 million thing, and Trump just did the $5 million gold card thing for you to be a status holder. But every country shares different eminence of immigration, and that's something we can't run from, and we're trying to fix it. So I just wanted to put that out there, just to not take up your show, but I know you're closing. There are certain jobs that we can bold up to hold and reserve only for our Caymanians.
But do you think we have the population to put that restriction in?
We have to start somewhere, because we are nowhere right now. We have to start somewhere, and we can tweak and tweak and tweak until it gets right. But it's a thought process. It's just information, food for thought. Mm-hmm. And whomever is listening, I mean, I also have the point of, I did say yesterday, I am for our HR managers to be more responsible, because Caymanians, I find that we don't look out for each other. However, the HR managers who are of different nationalities, they do look out for their nationalities of where they're from. I guarantee you that, which I experienced before in my lifetime several times. So I'm just saying we have certain things that we have to put in place, hard our foot down, and just get it done. Yes, it may be harsh. I've graduated since university for about 20 years now. I'm still waiting for Cayman to be different. We're not different. We're just blending. You know, you send your 19-year-old out there for experience, and you say, okay, don't blend in. Be different. We're so different, but then we can't even stand foot to be different. So I know there'll be hard choices, hard balls rolling, but there are countries that we can research. I talk about research and development, that we can definitely find a way to protect our own. And that's all I have to say.
Well, thank you for calling. And like I said, you get the last word.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
You have a good day, too.
Bye.
Well, that's it for Talk Today. Thanks for joining in. I'm Charles Glidden. Have a good afternoon.
Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just the delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh. Looking to transform your space? From custom homes to commercial spaces, we bring your vision to life with precision, quality, and elegance. At Mike's Builders, we make it happen.
Mike's Builders turned my dream home into a reality. Their team is professional, efficient, and truly the best in the business. Good communication? Check. Cleanliness? Check. Professionalism on point. You have to try Mike's Builders for yourself.
Call us today at 923-0706. That's 923-0706. Mike's Builders. Let's build a beautiful world together.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit CaymanAirways.com/cargo.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
Talk Today is also brought to you by Mike's Builders. Call 923-07